Oh my gosh. Blurry? Well, let me try. Not sure why it is blurry, so let me fix it. Did I like do something to the lens? I don't know. Just been trying to fuck with it to get. Not sure why. It looks like this. Maybe pull my stuff up. It will look less like that. I don't know. I will have to keep. I mean, you probably let me know if you can hear me. I don't know. Yeah. If I was here, am I super blurry then still? I guess not so bad. I don't know. I'm not really sure why it's like this. I do apologize, but for the grainy quality for whatever reason. I mean, why not? You know, like if you drop by, let me know if you could hear me. And otherwise, I might just fuck with the camera a little bit, but see if maybe my family members could possibly fix it later, but I'm not really sure why it looks so terrible. Okay, I have a little cloth. But anyway, probably looks a little better up close. Why is it doing this to me? I don't know. Let's see if we can find one of those whatever cleaner rags. Oh, I think it did clear up the quality a lot, but whatever. Okay, yeah, I don't really know exactly why this is happening, but if you can hear me, let me know, and I could just scoop my stuff up really. And, you know, be up close. I guess you could look close at my face. Whatever, even though it's kind of blurry, but I'm not really sure. So the last time I used the webcam, it really wasn't like this, but, you know, I'll just talk to my folks about it later, see if maybe my husband could fix it or whatever. And we'll go from there. But if you could hear me, let me know. Otherwise, I mean, you know, why not? I think it does look I look a lot better up closer than I do farther away like that. And I did try to, I have, you know, the lens wipe here, but it really maybe halfway improved it. So anyway, I'm here, and I'll just kind of move some of my stuff up, because why the fuck not? I'm going to bring my keyboard up here in front of me, and I will get my book, apple cider vinegar. And I have this. And then I do have my tarot cards, like, as well, so I'll just bring those with you. Okay, so let's talk about that shit. But how are you guys? Whoever drops by, let me know if you could hear me. At least. Guess I'll type it out too. There we go. Okay. That works. I mean, you can definitely see like it's me having a conversation with you. So until I hear, hey, can you hear me or not? I'm just fucking gonna be here doing whatever. Logging on as promised for a live stream. Yeah, I am just relaxing. What the fuck are you guys up to? Camera, why are you blurry? But yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you could hear me, whatever. I don't think it destroys it. The quality here. So people told me they were going to stop by. I'm hoping some regular stop by. Yeah, last month though, there was a young man who stopped by. You know, I really didn't realize he was super young until we started talking, and he just asked a lot of. I thought they were really pertinent and insightful kinds of questions. So it just kind of kept the conversation going. How's it going? I feel like I'm always just waking up, honestly, between allergies and being tired. Okay, Chili Mancer, I love you. Thank you for stopping by. I've been great friends a couple years, and I would like to send you some stuff in the mail later this year. So I will contact you on Messenger. Even if I don't want to scroll through all my messages, I'll just, I think, I'll be able to find your email through your YouTube. So peace out and have a good time at work. Yeah, working hard, hardly working. I hope it's kind of hardly working. But great to see you, and just for waking up. Yeah, I guess waking up is sort of a process for me. I mean, I can rush into doing stuff if I have to, but I like to have that moments alone, or I don't really, I wouldn't say maybe alone, but in the morning to just be like, I've got to get ready. Check my emails and stuff. For a long time, I would read obituaries. I still occasionally do. I'll dig a cemetery sometimes, find a grave, whatever it could be, and I don't know why. I've done that since I was a teenager, probably even younger than that. It's like reading the morning newspaper, and it's something like I feel like compelled to do. I don't spend a lot of time on it, really. I probably spend, when I do it, I probably spend 5 minutes a day, like in the morning. Obituaries, random people. And yeah, I do like to just drink a regular water when I wake up, so that it gives my body that time to kind of get going before I put any other substance or food in it, whether it's caffeine, or food. I just kind of give that, a good 15, 20 minutes to let water kind of wake up the system. And so what is new with you? Waking up, I hope you maybe have a day off, some relaxing time going on. I do once a month a live stream, usually every Friday of the month. And yeah, I think actually next month it should also be literally March 17th as well, because oh, okay. That's awesome. So that explains the time difference. With February being a shorter month. So yeah, I think it's March 17th. But okay, so you know all about my monthly live streams. And hey, sometimes people lose YouTube channels and stuff. They recently kind of just put numbers on the ends of YouTube channels. I don't really remember mine. I think it's like 4 digits, whatever, to identify stuff. But I'm really going to try to keep this is sort of my, I guess, trademarks name, if you will. By this point, I almost have 1,000 subscribers, which really blows my mind. I mean, at the same time, I've been doing it, I think, 6 years. But there's definitely been periods where I had a kid and I did, for a good year didn't log on because, you know, that's busy as fuck. So I mean, also I don't monetize, so I think it's impressive in a way. Um, I don't really know, but I've really grown fond of it. I guess that's all I really know, no matter what pace it's supposed to be at. But it's been a lot of fun. I enjoy emailing with you, but it's also easy to chat here. So, you know, honestly, this is super easy. I mean, it's a place for this. So yeah, if you have any questions or want to tell me what's new with you, you still into tarot? Um, I'm here for it. I'm still smoking weed. Uh, well, I've never been like, well, I'm gonna quit. Not at least at this time in my life. I once went, probably like separately, maybe like a year without it, and then there was one time where I went like 4 years without, weed at all. But now to me, there's days where I just don't do it, and days where one or maybe one day a week where I just get, like high all day or whatever. So it never really escalates for me to that point of I'm going to just do it all day, every day. Um, I think everybody's different. And when it becomes a problem, like for me, it was alcohol like that. You just have to acknowledge, be brave enough to acknowledge that, honest enough with yourself. And I think everybody's different. Substances and different people mix so differently that it's really crazy, and that's really the the truth about that. Oh, okay. Well, um, sometimes you do need to step back. I guess of course I don't have any really great advice to give you that could really match your situation, especially with such personal healing you have going on. But I will say that, I mean, I've gotten to know a lot of occultists, and knowing them over the years, like some come and gone kind of idea. A lot of them, I mean, I'm gonna probably say 80% at some point just dip out on the occult. Like, they might have a kid, they might get married, they might get a job promotion, kind of something like that, have that personal crisis, and then they stop doing it. And a lot of times, though, I mean, out of that 80%, probably 75% of those people eventually come back to the occult, and they'll be like, well, they just kind of figure they'll never do it again. But I think that later there's kind of a want to return in this sort of moderation. I also think that really the occult takes a lot of energy. And I mean, if you're in a place where you are fucking putting so much energy into a different stage in life, it's really hard to take that with you. So it's okay to leave it alone for a while. I mean, that certainly applies to me in some ways, because having, some really young kids, I just couldn't do it. Like, I mean, I don't really fucking have a nanny. Extended families, like, you eat together, not I'm gonna, watch your kids or whatever. So I just did not have time for that, like, at all. So during that time, I just read, I continued reading and whatever, but I didn't have time for that practice at that in my life. That's okay. Um, so it's just really interesting. But of course, if it's something that's not for you, you could say, hey, you've tried it, and move on. And yeah, I definitely know I have tried a bunch of different things. But therapy is really good. There was one time that I was in therapy for probably about 3.5, 4 years, but consistently, seeing the same therapist. I did probably go another couple times, but I just went for like a few months and whatever. It did me a lot of good. It really did. I think more than else, I needed at that time somebody to sort of listen to me. And that above anything else really was honestly what I needed. I mean, there's, listening to like, well, this fucking happened to me and my emotions, but really it's like I don't have any deep answers other than, somebody cared. So yeah, hold on, I'm getting a little drink here. Marcos, hey, what's going on? Oh my gosh, it's really good to see you guys here. And I mean, I can't wait to be able to print out your drawings. I am very excited about it. I kind of part of what's going on with me is I'm going to have a lot more time, maybe about a year from now or less, because I will not have like super young children with me, my kids, all the time, because there's going to be some, next stages in life like that. And I think I'm going to have a lot more time for that. So I don't really push it. If I can't do something elaborate, I might say fucking stick with tarot cards or whatever. And that's okay. I do love the live streams, though, of course. There's, just not the time. And yeah, you talk about the occult being taxing. When I was young, like a kid and stuff, I really, I was exhausted from the dead constantly approaching me, especially at night. And I didn't know how to protect myself and set boundaries. And that it made me sick a lot more often and depressed and, but really exhausted to the point where it's like, that I don't know, loss of concentration and interest and stuff. So now that I kind of have, kind of gone, well, I think, this is really happening. How can I protect myself? And that's setting those boundaries has been really important for me. I just can't be having the dead wake me all the time at night. So I have to block them off. I also don't want them using my energy. Unless there's a place and time for it. If I, have made a connection with a dead person, then that's okay, but not, while I'm asleep. Like, oh yeah, well, I think that, along with depression, there kind of seems to come creativity. I think that maybe there's a lot of have to do with neurotransmitters involved in that, but it's like you're seeing the world, your perspective, your senses, because when you get depressed, you really get cut off from your senses. You don't perceive sensory experience as much. So when, if it is like chemical, neurological, and that depression sort of at least corrects a little bit, then everything kind of literally feels and looks and tastes fresh, because you're able to, be more grounded and be in your senses, because you really are not grounded, if you're depressed. So I think that, and of course, it's like you're happy to be alive. You feel life. Of course, you want to create and share. I think it is that very jovial, even if it's not blatantly jovial, it's, positivity. So yeah, what, all good things that you're really saying from her. And I do love your YouTube name. Marcos, what is up with you and what is new? And yeah, from heart for your soul. That's really cute. I don't know, maybe cute, romantic name. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. Well, that is okay to have times and place for stuff in your life. In my honest opinion and in my experience, You're not the same person that you were when you were 18 or 30 or whatever. Doesn't mean that you're a completely different person, but I think there's a compartmentalization that, that's going to go on for all of us, really. But I have just a regular deck of tarot cards. So the Rider-Waite deck. And then, yeah, I'm going to maybe pack a bowl. If you haven't seen some of my recent videos, I probably recommend, the recommended satanic music playlist. Yeah, for some reason, it got over 100 views. So I don't know if that means it was good or not, but I actually made a list over whatever period of time, maybe a week, if I forget, whatever. And, so I made a super good list, and I might have, oh man, I probably want to say I hit up 15, 20 songs or artists. Or either occult or satanic. I forgot Godsmack. God damn it. What? Honorable mention. But I did get a lot of good ones, so. Probably the only other one that I'd be like, wow, you should go out of your fucking way to watch would be the Matthew Matoli case. At this point, about 2 years ago, my friend contacted me and he said, hey, a family member wanted me to, ask me if I knew any good psychics because their family member went missing. So he asked me to do, basically a channeling for the case. And the only information I had was a missing poster with very little information from the state he went missing. That was it. So that was the only information online at the time. No Charlie Project page, no news articles, absolutely nothing. And about back in November, they found the man in the exact same circumstances that I mentioned. My friend wanted to know, the family member was really wanted to know if foul play was involved, because that was something she believed was going on. And I said that this was a natural death. In fact, I talked about how there was a health problem in the last couple of years that developed that he needed medication for. And it, made him disoriented and sweaty. Well, it turns out he had just had a heart attack prior to not too long prior to going missing. And I mean, there's a couple of minor details I got wrong, but I even was able to see what he would do for a living. I think I got the number of family members wrong. But that's really crazy. And I also, I said he's going to be found in the fall, which he was. And I said, well, he's going to be found because he's not far from somebody's property. So it's in this area, but it's near his property because that's where he left. And he liked to go walk out into nature. So, I mean, it really, I don't know. I guess you could say it really astonishes me even. So I profiled him, and then I did a summary, saying, hey, this is what I think is happening, okay? Of course, foul play could be involved, and I'm just another crazy psychic. But that's really, really interesting. My one friend, he asked me to profile a famous missing person case from Britain, but, I'm kind of considering it. But it with so much publicity it's getting, it might be solved soon anyway. Yeah, so how to kind of do that? Well, that's kind of first and foremost. I mean, everybody wants to jump in and do the Goetia stuff. No one likes my, safe mom occult talk fucking shit. But to dive right in and go to Enochi magic demons, the Goetia, Satanism, without kind of having a really good grasp of what I would consider white magic protection, healing, setting boundaries, practicing meditation, lucid dreaming, really is kind of a dangerous thing. And the reason that I say that is because, let's say you're summoning, you do a Ouija board, or you summon a demon or an angel, a deceased person, but you don't know how to ground yourself. You don't know how to protect yourself or set boundaries. You could be summoning something that isn't exactly what you think it is. And also, spirits can have reactions. They could trick you. And if you have if you don't have that boundary set up, then it's likely going to, they're going to attach to you. So I think that that's very important. I mean, yes, black magic is very alluring, and for a reason. But I think that it's not so much about staying safe as it is a sort of a self-mastery, and, basically covering your own ass and whatever. And that's like also, having spirit guides, deceased allies, ancestors, things like that. They're going to protect you because you're going to need it. When you do magic, you start opening yourself up. That's another part of it. You guys can hear me good, right? Okay. Just let me know or whatever, and that would make me feel better, I guess. Okay, good. Awesome. Yes. Well, right. That's kind of what I meant is like, I think that sometimes trauma, illnesses open people up, and then they'll start randomly experiencing that. Like, most living people do not perceive dead people, whether that's physically seeing them, or they just like, oh, I walk in this building and here's, this whatever deceased person on the astral plane. That would just drive you mad if that was what you were into all of a sudden. Like, all of a sudden you're seeing dead people, and they're it's a little stinky, a little dead looking, and then you're like, oh, but I've got to still go home and do my homework and go to work, right? So it is maddening. And I found that I do love this and I want to experience it, but I also can't have it be my whole life. And when I didn't know how to do that, it was when I would, channel people, it would be like I would take them into my being and experience what they would go through. So of course it would be like it'd take me forever to recover from it. It's like I would feel physically in some ways what happens to them. And yeah, I mean, it is maddening. I mean, I started abusing alcohol when I was 14. I mean, I drank, first time I drank, but it was to be able to disassociate from all that, plus like drug abuse by one of my parents, definitely was like, oh yeah, I mean, like I met that disassociation, and it brought me it was like a relief from the constant dead people bothering me, not knowing how to set boundaries on that, and then just like, being an outcast at school, having one parent on drugs. Absolutely. So I was a drunk for like a good 10 years, and it was my way to really dole that out, because one can't carry on like that. But I mean, of course, not only did I live, I found a balance here. So probably have to get up and get another drink of water pretty soon, but whatever. Anyway, like to know your opinion about. Oh, well, I think psychedelics and the Goetia. I okay. I would say that um, the one thing to keep in mind is that you could use, a magician, which I really respect. Somebody once told me this idea. Should be able to achieve whatever they achieve with drugs without that. Like we're talking spiritually. And I think that's really interesting, through chanting, repetition, mantras, um, sensory deprivation, meditation, doing fastings. One can open oneself up like that. And yeah, I mean, really achieve a higher state of consciousness. However, I think maybe without like a little bit of grounding and sincerity, it's just going to end up being you're high on drugs, which is fine for you, I suppose, right? Or whoever you are. But it's like I do think you can combine it. I think that again, you could apply fasting as a dedication to God too, but I've done a couple of rituals under the psychedelic influence, and it's gone well. Although I haven't done really high doses, so maybe beginner to maybe a moderate, so that I still was able to do some rituals, but not be like, oh, I'm melting into the couch, right? So yeah, I would say try low doses, honestly, because and if you're gonna do something like that, maybe try like a lower dose, and then put up like make the room like sensory deprivation kind of shit, all black, or just a candle maybe in front of an altar, the drums, whatever. You could even have drums on repeat on something like YouTube. I think that could really, really enhance the ritual so you're not so fucking gone, but you could really, so much easier to let I think your consciousness leave your body in that experience. Honestly, try a lower dose like that because it kind of makes that echo effect feel, just way more powerful. You're more, um, I would say, ideally relaxed and things like that. So I don't know. I mean, what would be your experience on that? I just wouldn't want to do high doses, I would say. Otherwise, I mean, I wouldn't do it like for every, ritual. But I think if you really are, kind of trying to honor a god, a demon that has an aspect of, maybe like it's, maybe like Duke Dantalian, where there's like that psychological aspect or shape shifting, or, um, you know, um, I think that kind of idea, um, that can really get you more into that mindset. Or another example would just be uh, you want to do necromancy because it's like I feel like it is a trip to have your consciousness in the living, and now you're gonna astral project and see the dead, open yourself up to that. So it is trippy. It is whatever you want to call it, a trip with or without drugs. And I think that could kind of facilitate. I could definitely see the value in something like that. So just like if it applies to anything else, not all demons and gods are going to want fasting or weed or whatever. They all like different stuff, just like people. Anyway. Oh yeah, music's always really healing. Oh, no, yeah, I love Dukes on Italian. The Goetia is definitely one of my favorite, um, aspects of stuff. I'm always drawing the sigils, and I look forward to having a lot more time to just, if probably even before I film a lot more, I'm just gonna really be into rituals, I would say. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking set that there, I guess. Oh my gosh. I was like, where am I gonna put my weed? Yeah, speaking of being, whatever, altered states of consciousness. It's marijuana. Usually on my live stream nights, I like to smoke weed because I don't always, smoke weed every day, but I like to, I don't know, it's kind of a mood that I try to get into all day. I would not, well, I hope I'm not triggering you, because everybody's different. But again, it's not so much about are you sober or not sober, or are you doing the occult or not. I think that life is probably a little bit about moderation, and then we kind of think of things in extremes. But I don't drink alcohol, so I smoke weed, but that's just sometimes, But I mean, like I said, a lot of people can drink and, they're fine, they function, they don't drink the next day. We're all different is really what it comes down to. Oh, actually, I've had this tattoo a really long time. I guess whatever. Yeah, I actually designed it myself, so it's I don't know why the fuck my skin is kind of a little dry, but yeah, sorry about the blurry image of it, but it obviously it looks really defined. I fucking drew it myself, and it's like a dream catcher. I'm 1/8 Blackfoot Native American, and I wanted to incorporate that kind of cobweb aspect, dream catcher aspect, and that's of course like the triple moon, and the pentagram. And honestly, I just think it was a really beautiful mix of some of my most important beliefs, or defining, I would say. Yeah, actually, first I didn't really like the heavy part of the decoration here. The sort of thicker, really decorative part of it. But as time has gone on, I really do. I do want more tattoos. I just don't want a ton of them. But yeah, I really love this because I drew it myself. I'm a terrible drawer, but I just designed the concept and did a basic kind of a drawing. And then, whatever other people kind of went from there with it. So, got the little stars around it for nighttime. You get it. It's fucking Dreamcatcher, nighttime. But, oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm not usually really a creative arts kind of a person. Like where, if you're like draw a sigil, make one up. People say that, oh, make a brand new sigil, make one up, and my mind will go blank like that. So whatever, it just sort of came to me, actually in some dreams. I should make a YouTube video about that because I've learned a lot more about the symbolism and its sort of importance to who I am, my family, kind of stuff like that. But for another day. Yeah, how about you? Do you have any tattoos that might have to do with the occult? Medicine or poison, right? Yeah, I mean, that and just trying to incorporate, make the healthy stuff matter more than the unhealthy stuff that we all do, right? Yeah, the trickster aspect of spirits is really interesting to me, because I think that's pretty universal, honestly, with different religions. One of the things that it really is, honestly comes to my mind is that whether it's gods, the dead, nature spirits, deities, they don't have a body, a physical body. So they're just consciousness without a body. They, not all the time. I mean, there are, there's exceptions. But, I mean, they definitely want to have at least access to your body typically. And I'm talking whether it's like good or bad. If it's going to have a relationship, a connection to you, it's got to have connection to your body. So I do think there is an element of manipulation most of the time, even if it's not extreme, but it is this kind of, when the dead present themselves, they're trying to make this, connection with you, which is your body. And, a lot, spirits who are, who are evil, who have bad intentions, they know that they can't just start harming you and have you open up to them. They have to, have you be caught off guard, be comfortable. Just, whatever, drain, even if they just hang around enough and drain you eventually, it is very manipulative to gain access to, specific living person. Well, that's why grounding is very important, because they're real. You don't want something to attach to your body, whether it's a really, depressed, deceased person, or a crazy person, a hungry god, meaning they are finally got access to, an aspect of them, finally got access to a human, and they're, they just like, oh, they have a body, they have a craving, they're just gonna try to relieve that, repeat it over and over and over again. You want to block that, because in my opinion, those kinds of things happen. Now, I think that people are still responsible for themselves. We live in I try to mix this with my views with, the rational world. I'm sure that doesn't really always make a lot of sense, but Friday, yeah, it is a cult night, yes. If someone could go inside my body, like, we're talking, of course. Yeah, I would say that an example would be like if I'm channeling a specific dead person, I do have my spirit guides, and the one deceased headless man I've talked about who protects me in these kinds of situations. But the way I perceive the channeling, basically, it's like watching a movie or watching people like from across the street. And then it will go from that to like, I'm just in disbelief because I can't move my body. Yeah, I feel like, like I'm being stabbed. I feel just complete sadness, like just despair. And it's so, just real despair is heavy, that heaviness. And I think that is a spirit going inside of my body. At least I'm opening myself up to have that so that I can understand them. They could communicate to me what their really their message is, and that's very graphic and emotional in some ways. So I do allow that in that kind of um, way, controlled way, I would say. I don't just leave myself open, because yeah, I life drains us of enough energy. I don't really want. I mean, yeah, spirits can spirits mess with people. Yes. Yes. Um, I've definitely seen several situations where he's, mess with. It's been a haunted house, and I'll talk to usually like the spouse of the person having problems, and they'll say, um, he completely changed. He went from liking to eat these types of foods to all of a sudden eats this food. And, he usually be able to sleep. Well, now he stays up all night, started talking a different way. And of course, people just change. But at the same time, when, we'll come to find out, they take on a lot of personality traits of the, deceased person that's haunting their home. So is it messing with somebody? Yeah, I mean, it has that power. Even something like that, a dead spirit, being around, constantly around in a space with a living person, they take on their personality traits and likes and mannerisms. I mean, that's powerful, right? Um, to me, that is, something to consider. I mean, you can't just say, well, spirits, and have a crazy answer to it. You have to do things like meditation stuff to protect yourself. Behemoth, oh my gosh, I'm a huge fan of yours, actually. I love all the Bog, Become a Living God creators. Absolutely. So I think that's how I found you, actually. Trying to think who's paid, maybe Lee Stewart, or perhaps even EA Coetti from back in the day. I don't agree with. Actually, there's no one occultist I completely agree with, of course. But I love sharing of ideas. I think everybody who does practice the occult with the sincerity has something to bring to the table. And I really, of course, to come out on YouTube and say, oh yeah, I'm a Satanist, already puts you in a class of your our own anyway here. But yeah, I love your um, fucking, especially your sigil videos, but also, where you share your experiences. One was about you're talking about how demons will have just open you up to have this kind of empathy and, your intuition. And I think, those experiences are so valuable, to have that almost beyond human, I don't know, emotional kind of experience. That's definitely a big part of it. I love it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you must have 20,000 subscribers, something like that. I don't really know, but um, yeah, I'll have to check out your last few videos. But yeah, I fucking really appreciate you stopping by. What a legend. So okay, yeah, I will. I'll check out a couple of other regulars. I'll do a YouTube recommended YouTubers list. I'll definitely throw you on there like I do every year. And I appreciate you talking about your journey with sobriety and, growing into the occult and still having a family, that blend of a grounded life and still being an occultist, a Satanist. Um, it really gives me a lot of confidence as well. And think makes us all feel less alone, like in this way. That's super cool. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So what do you all want to talk about next? Yeah, oh, I'll have to get some more occult tattoos eventually. But I'm very picky, I suppose. Okay. That yeah, so combine nerdism with the occult. I like that. Gotta catch them all. Yeah, I guess that's the joke here. Jokes usually take me a minute anyway, which is just who I am. So, yeah, I think that's funny. Well, I mean, eventually, you usually want to work with all of them. I think that if you're a serious cultist and you like, you really give, especially if you have like one experience that really opened you up, you're like, yes, I do have to catch them all, and super funny. But they all have their different times as well. Maybe for me, I've developed that. I'll just open myself up, and then I'll just kind of, somebody will start talking about President Marbus or, you know, um, Renov and I'll just be like, that's it. That's what or I'll even think of a concept first, psychology, psychological stuff. Start reading about Jung, and then I'll think about Duke Dantali and see Duke Dantali sigil. So I kind of like to, be able to have that kind of openness. Oh, Hermit, what's up? I was waiting for you to log on as well. So really good to have you here. Yeah. What the hell are you up to tonight? Or I mean, it's probably morning or something over in Europe, but yeah. Because my other friend was just talking about, oh, I just woke up. So what would be something that would be best or to help you to understand how to turn it off and on? Well, as far as external tools, those don't ultimately that doesn't really matter. Tarot cards are just a prop. um I mean, it's kind of like this. I could read somebody, but without cards, but having that makes it, I suppose, a more detailed story, really. But I don't, it's just a prop. Ultimately, it's an extension of me. So that, it comes from within, and that meditation kind of stuff really has to go, you know first. I do think as well you have to kind of be in a place where you're healed enough, where you talk mostly good to yourself. No, none of us are perfect, but those things really will help you, because when you start to master your own mind, and you notice how you create habits, you notice how you might do certain habits when you find yourself tired or anxious. That's how you're going to be able to have a lot better control when you want to basically be, go and explore the occult, because um, yeah, you have to know yourself. Really, is that basic idea. What though That's what meditation and sensory deprivation are teaching you about your own self. Really, then you can go on. Then get objects like sage and salt and quartz. Protection ideas, right? Um, but it's what you're putting into it. So and if the answer is, well, you're not in a state of at a place in your life where you um feel good about yourself, then it's okay. You just got to work on yourself, because you will learn something about yourself, and that's important. So just kind of look at it that way, and then you can bring that back. That's why when people do things like protection, they buy, sage, and it doesn't work. Basically, instead of, I wish you could just say, did you really believe it worked? And I have asked people that, say, did you actually believe it would work? Oh, no, I just did it because I heard it would work. Well, there's no, fucking balls, gusto, belief in it. There's no heightened state of consciousness, awareness that's projected into that. It's just, doing it. So really that might sound fucking whatever, but it is. It's just a lot of it. That's what people are like, is it all about looks? And it's really not. I think that, being sort of a charming person, and, charming doesn't have to be negative or really flamboyant, but just a, appealing kind of person. You want to be friends with them. You want to listen to what they say. You kind of want to hear their advice. That is because of, who they are, projecting themselves to be, not like the way they look. And that's not just inherent. That's really like a sort of a skill. And that comes from knowing, I think, yourself. Probably also observing people as well. But, what psychological shit have you been looking into now? So I'm always interested in that. I love reading Psychology Today. So you could just Google that if you're interested in any kind of, they have like sort by topics. And you can look up anything, bipolar, schizophrenia, and they'll have different things from like life, suggested diet changes for a certain disorder, or theories about, childhood, and personality. So, it goes from basic kind of stuff to, deep kind of stuff. And you're like, so somehow, yeah, well, of course, necromancers. I mean, real necromancers have to go do some magic at a cemetery. And I think if that's, something you're into, then, definitely, well, you'll definitely get some kind of results, I would say. Anybody who tries cemetery magic is going to have something different in their life happen very quickly. That's probably pretty open to interpretation. But I guess that's not just every person who's going to go do that. So whether you're really looking for something, or you're just maybe looking for yourself, you're going to find, you'll find it. Might not be a good thing or easy, but transformative. To get to, well, try to meditate, sensory deprivation, doing cleansers like fasting, drinking apple cider vinegar, lemon water, hot tea, eating raw garlic, because it will cleanse your body of hard minerals. So you know how, your kitchen sink gets really, those minerals. So you could take your cleaner and scrub the thing, but you're still going to have those, as, like you call it, water stains. That's what happens to the inside of your body. But specifically your pineal gland, and it gets this, build up calcium. You get build up actually of that throughout your body, and it blocks you from perceiving a lot of stuff. So this was something that was really important to ancient Egyptians. So forget, beyond psychedelics, beyond rituals and stuff, I think that it is important to basically ground your body. When your body's able to break down these minerals, and you can, urinate them out, then you're way more grounded to the earth. And when you're more grounded to the earth, your heart rate really closely matches the pulsations of the earth, and that's basically what you want. So it's a good place to start because, you could do drugs, but if you have a lot of that blockage in your body, you're going to have a very limited perspective, I would say. You feel exhausted after a ritual. I think it is very normal to feel exhausted after a ritual, especially with anything demonic in general, I would say. So, that is very normal, but it is kind of like it's almost like getting over being sick. You just kind of have to take it a little bit easy, right? I would say, maybe try having like some smoothies or have some eggs afterwards, something that's just really good and, for nutritious for your body after a ritual if you feel tired, because that will really ground you as well right away. To just really get something when you start digesting, that grounds you, because your mind doesn't wander as far because you're now attached to your body. You're feeling that, your consciousness feels digestion happening. So that, will make it a little bit easier to recover. Honestly, give it a try. Let me know what you think on that. But otherwise, it is normal to be tired and drained. Especially if it's something you're really looking forward to, something that you put so much into, it should exhaust you. I mean, like a very exciting experience, basically. For humanity to exist. Black magic sorcerer, what is up? I think this first, maybe second time you dropped by, so good to see you here. I know your channel is really growing to like 500 something, right? So why do humans exist? Coincidence or a matter of divinity? Well, humans exist. Subjective consciousness exists because all these things, these concepts already existed, and these basically we could call it non-human consciousnesses. Having these cravings, needing to experience things. So there was consciousness before there was subjective life, and that is why humans exist. Consciousness exists because consciousness needs a body to make things real, to die. Dying is very important to basically the universal consciousness, which you could call like ideas about, the concept of God. So it's not like, I guess I'll put it this way. You could be, you feel angry. You didn't create anger, the feeling, right? So that already existed and needed you to have that experience, and it applies to really our whole lives. Complete, total, devastating loss, happiest moment of your whole life. Us humans, we're like, oh, it's not very special, but it really is. It's honestly takes a lot, so much creativity on consciousness's part. But I do think that it is basically due to subjective consciousness. But my spiritual understanding would be that more like in the consciousness of gods and demons. Demons to me are always experiencing, I should say versions of them are experiencing severe cravings. So they're, you know, it's like a worm dying and being reborn over and over again, just to have that experience of living, so that they could evolve into something more complex. So the nervous system, the nervous system really is also why we exist. So, back around the time of the Bible, we could only see, whatever, I forgot, 40 fucking colors, humans. Now we see, I think, thousands. So that's going to increase. So our sensory experience is what is going to continue to evolve, because the universe will do absolutely anything to experience itself. Because what happens here on the physical plane is real. It's like what that's the sad part about ghosts. I mean, some people will say, what the fuck's wrong with this dead person? They're sad, okay? Because they really don't have a lot of understanding of sorry, I was just somebody texting me. To not really have that understanding that that they're dead or something. So they're sad, constantly sad, right, over whether it's property or whatever. They can't bring that to the physical plane. So when you get sad as a living person, whether you cry, whether you bottle it up inside, you go run a marathon, do a ritual, whatever, you're going to express that in some way. So you feel it happen and you make it real by expressing it. And then you move on with your life, living. Okay. So, they can't do that. They're constantly in that, going to reloop that state, because they don't experiencing, they're not experiencing being grounded. They're just, all that is their attachments. So that is part of the way I would describe this. I guess somebody doesn't like my channel. Well, I'm not for everybody. I'm not gonna I don't have all the answers. And in fact, I really wouldn't say that I 1,000% believe this is all fucking real and whatever. But what I do kind of want my channel to be is more like, it's like, what happens when we die, right? I can't really tell you exactly what's going to happen to you, or give you a really I know it answer, but let's speculate about it. When people say, what are ghosts? How the fuck could you really know what a ghost is thinking, doing, whatever? I don't, but I see patterns, and I just am offering my perspective, rather than, okay, I, started seeing ghosts and meditating, and then this happened to me. And then you might try it and think that, if it doesn't happen to you, that I'm a charlatan or something, whatever. But I'm really not here to sell anything. So fucking, that's really my answer to that, honestly. I'm just fucking here to hang out. Oh yeah, well, I love smoking my pipe, so yeah, I know all that. Well, of course, the legalities are all things that apply to you. I'm not recommending anybody do anything illegal. We're just talking about the subject. You make your own opinions, judgments, experiences, and that's obviously going to mean something different to everybody. Even what'd you see? Describe a person across the street. People are going to, it might have similar, sorts of parts of their answer, but they're going to still have differences. So even with observing somebody, there's so many differences, variables, because we're all having that A lot of it has to do with, how much were you paying attention? One person might have just been staring at that person wondering what the fuck are they doing there? And another person in the room is like noticing that the person out of their corner of their eye walk across the street while they're on their phone. They're not really going to remember as many details because, there's that attention isn't as direct. So you know what I mean? Like, that's how people are. Yeah, it's really good to see you, Black Magic Sorcerer. It was a lot of fun. Fun maybe is not the right word, but doing that case, I just found that really interesting. I've never seen any updates on Matthew, so if you ever do have any personal updates, please email me that. Now, a woman, Black Magic Sorcerer, was talking to me for a while, and she claimed her name was Barbara, and she was I believe Matt's first wife or ex-wife. And she did say, hey, you did get some things wrong before he was found. You did get things wrong. But a lot of the stuff that you said really sounds like him. So she was very respectful towards me and open, I would say. And I just, but she was like, is there foul play involved? And I said, listen, you can watch my videos, and my vision, I stand by my vision as far as what I'm telling you and my, my insights. So yeah, I don't know if you have any information about that, but yeah, I just thought I'd share with you that she reached out to me. I think that hypnosis in general is really healing. Yeah. Honestly, some people are really open to it, and some people, it takes them a long time, but if you're too open with hypnosis, if you're too open, your experience of personal crisis and whatever, it might not be the thing that you want to do. Because you don't want to, it can make you so open all of a sudden that now you're like experiencing, like when people start to, they have a paranormal experience where they just become open to seeing the dead. Then it's like, that's an imbalance really of openness. But I think that, especially if it's somebody who's impartial to you, and but you could trust professionally, I think you can get a lot from that. Because when we're relaxed, I do think that we're able to have a better recall. Because when we're conscious, we've always got something specific on our mind. But when we're just in that hypnotic state, all kinds of things come up to the surface of consciousness. And it's really not so filtered. And that's very valuable at the very least, whether it's paranormal or not. I have done that kind of, idea with, I've done some hypnosis on a few people who have asked me to help them regress to remember their previous lives with some success. That is just not an everyday, every week kind of thing. Oh my gosh, when you get 666 subscribers, you'll have to do like a special, I don't know, guitar solo, ritual, whatever. Well, you're welcome. I'll probably stay on 15, 20 more minutes. Whatever. So yeah, I know probably time for one or two more topics. And then I'll see you guys in March. Yeah, I don't know. Just my thoughts to yours. I mean, what you think is just as likely right as me. Oh, well, sometimes we're not ready to take specific advice. I mean, even me too. And then, years later, I'm like, I should have listened to that at that time. But um, you know what? Maybe sometimes it's not meant for us to do at that moment, but more to ponder, concepts like. So that definitely, when I was, um, trying to get sober, I'd think of all this, advice people had had. I'd be like, damn it, I should listen to that, but um, are you serious? That's fucking great. I, you know, I do think that having your consciousness so, um, altered, especially, if somebody's brand new to that or whatever, um, it's so profound. But I do think it is, kind of rearranging the neural pathway, temporarily to be open enough to experience things like divinity, ghost spirits, seeing things that really are already there, but being able to actually perceive them. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, the fucking the Earth pulsates, so it has to do with like the inner core and magnetite and the what's at the center of the Earth, but it actually is like a heartbeat. So we have a heartbeat, and the Earth has a heartbeat. The universe does too. So it's constantly clicking off and on, really. And that's kind of some of the theories about how if let's if you presume psychic abilities are real, like astral projection, um, that um, you throw your consciousness into um, space beyond time, and have that back. It's kind of like what the idea that psychics, they get a lot of information. They'll give you a whole story, like a 10-minute description, accurate description of somebody. But the information they get takes less than a second. So it's like trying to visualize that in your mind, and then you can turn that into words. But the actual receiving the information is so out of time. It's not like a daydream where you're daydreaming and you imagine an old cowgirl walking down the street in the old west, and your mind kind of wanders into that romantic idea, like the dirt in the background and other people passing by. So that takes time, right? It's not an automatic. A daydream is not an automatic experience. I think most people would agree. But it is just really interesting because it is out of definitely time. So we have a lot to learn, but I think that does make sense. It's like you have to be able. It has to do with throwing consciousness beyond time. We have to be part of time because we're alive with a specific name and body right now. But you can transcend that, sense that with your consciousness. So yeah. Um, oh yeah, I had so much fun talking about the music video. That was cool. I'm gonna do. Somebody asked me to do recommended books, and then Behemoth X stopped by. He's like one of my favorite satanic YouTubers. So now I'm gonna have to, do my recommended YouTubers list and whatever. Go through some of my old videos, and then, um, I guess let my ego process that now that I almost have 1,000 subscribers, some people are gonna drop by and say, "You're complete shit. Fuck you." And then I'm just gonna have to, probably get used to that experience, I would say, because what I say is controversial to begin with. And then, I think sometimes people might not take it exactly for what it is, just my opinions or like, kind of adventures, if you will. I've described this channel to people as this is my art. What is it? Is it, is that what you really believe? No, it's not 1,000%. It's my art. I'm presenting to, if I'm having a psychic vision, can I exactly tell you how and why that occurs? No, I'm interested in the theories, but I still find the experience valuable. So I want to give the details. I want to put it out there, right? No one's going to say, whatever, contact a psychic, and the psychic will say, I have no information. You have to have something if you want to be doing that. And I mean, I think that really goes to fortune tellers in general, palmistry, whatever, occult people. There is that perspective that you have to offer something. You have to get some information, present that. So yeah. Let's see, where am I reading at? Start playing games again. Oh, that's cool. I mean, the one gentleman who, man, what the fuck, Haggard, right? From the Harry Potter series, he passed away not too long ago. I mean, gosh, it is kind of the end of an era in the Harry Potter way like that. But I do like the games once in a while. I like playing Divinity with my husband, so it's like a medieval kind of theme game, stuff like that. But it's not really a big thing for me. I've gotten into puzzling the last year, jigsaw puzzles. It really is relaxing for me, so I do that and read. But I'm always on down for just some movies, and the game it's very I forget what tech people might call it. What the fuck is it? Role playing game, So I like that story aspect. That's a lot of fun for me. Well, welcome to my channel. If you want to suggest a topic, you got about 10 minutes. It's really nice to have you drop by. You need Jesus. Jesus loves you all. Well, I'm open to Christianity. I grew up Christian. I think there's something to learn in everybody's philosophy. I'm not Christian. I am a demon altar, necromancer, but at the same time, it doesn't upset me when people say that they pray. Now, when people start to, religious people might start to get, I guess, personal and say, well, have you been saved? Stuff like that. Then I really kind of find a way to go, oh, my dinner's burning down. I've got to fucking go. But other than that, no, I don't get fucking just, when I was young, I used to get really upset about Christianity, just mentions of it, like a fucking angry goth, I suppose. But age has softened my heart a little bit, I think, maybe. But also I've come into who I really am. I've decided, yes, this is a path for me. The occult is a path for me. But I am not going to waste energy, being upset at people as long as they're not in my space about it. But that's just some thoughts on that. Opinions. Yeah, well, I'm speculating. Opinions. Honestly, that really is what it is. So, also, there's a lot of people out there who are a lot smarter than me and would be able to maybe articulate what I'm thinking is trying to say a lot better, or heck, I think that, conversation where you disagree on a subject, I think that's really fascinating because I do love to always think of, if let's just say I think something is paranormal, what would be an alternative answer, right? We talk about haunted houses. What if the place is infested with rats? So people are hearing footsteps at night, but it's just rats in the walls. Well, yeah, I think that, somebody, it's like, or you're going to hurt somebody's, some psychic's feelings, and they're like, it's, this dead person, come find out there's rats in the wall. Like, you got to be open to the logical answer. Really, I think it's important. And I've learned probably some of the best things I have ever learned by, listening in on conversations, and then just kind of maybe even later realizing, maybe thinking about it alone, like, wow, that person's perspective, I see where they were coming from, or what, maybe more, realize more of what they're trying to communicate, and there's always value in that. But I'm going to go with the, cult answer, basically, that I present. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. I do love those games where you get to, I don't know. Oh, they're like fairy fantasy kind of stuff. My husband likes Zelda, and that the music for those games are really very calming, but also there's a lot of like nature in that as well. Like, so I really do like that. Even if I'm not I'm going to sit and watch it, like just having it on is very like, I like the nature theme of that. I think it's a lot of fun. So whether you're playing a video game or you're doing a ritual, you are becoming, a different, part of yourself. And I think that when you are home, you feel more free typically to express a side of yourself that you don't present in public. I mean, same applies to me. I don't swear around my children. I don't talk about the occult in my very normal life that I have, because that's not the time and place for that. It wouldn't be appropriate. It wouldn't make sense anyway. It would, forget arguing with people. It's just, I need to be having this kind of stuff to do that is normal, ranging from chores to, you know, hobbies, interest, school, kids, life, and all that. And it's just, that's that place for that. But then at home alone, I'm like able to explore this part of myself, if that makes sense. So I do think both of those things are authentic. I'm not, if I'm just out there being a normal stay-at-home mom, um, really, um, that kind of presentation, I would say that's authentic. I really value it. I'm not making it up, or doing it as just a facade for some, some ulterior reason. I find, genuine happiness in it. I also find genuine happiness in this. I think it's expressions of myself. And I do think people commonly would experience it, and call it more an exploration of their masculine or feminine. And all those things are very normal. And I think it's important as we grow up to, I think, understand that we have to have a place for our imaginations and our own private selves expressing that way. Um, well, yeah, of course, cell phones. I've heard some interesting, phone calls from the dead stories. That's a lot of fun to ponder. Don't know if it's true. Yeah, if you ever heard of the author Dean Koontz, um, American, he, I mean, his books are fucking dime a dozen, at least in the States, at places like their thrift stores, book section. And he was at his office or something. He says this is true. Only paranormal experience he claims to have. And somebody calls his office and says, "Get out," um, and then get out a couple times. And he hangs up the phone, tries to go about his day, and he gets the phone call again. And his mom, who had died, he thinks to himself, that sounded like my mom's voice. But, it was some random person calling my office that, it's a wrong number, and he goes about his fucking life. Well, a couple days later, um, his dad, he either hid in his office or tried to break into it to kill him, because he was actually crazy and had escaped from a mental institution and was going to try to stab Dean Koontz. So, yeah. I don't know why you got a bunch of message. I didn't read any of the. If it says message retracted, I definitely didn't read it. But yeah, that's a true. You could look that up kind of story. It's really fun to wonder about. I mean, he says this is what happened to me. I realized it was my mom calling to warn me. Yeah, I don't think that other people would. You can't just be like, well, you look like you're goth, and so we should be occult friends, and like, because there's a lot of straight edge goths out there. There's a lot of goths that are Christian, and you do not want to be like, hey, I like Satan. I'm assuming you do too. Let's be friends, because I don't think that, it's like you don't want to fucking like just piss somebody off and butt heads with, so you don't like, do you really need that in your life? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that, you kind of have to be around somebody at least a little bit for them to maybe notice something about you or talk to you long enough where they'll finally say, I like this topic. I'm going to throw this little crumb out there. Maybe they'll say, hey, do you believe in ghosts? Oh, I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday eventually. And that's how, it's like, is it safe to come out of the broom closet or whatever? But that's kind of how it goes. It's a lot of fun. But I think that it's very also understandable why we don't all walk around and talk about the occult, because would you really want to fight with every single person that you have to deal with at work in your normal life? No, of course not. And, you wouldn't want to take that kind of energy. That would be exhausting. So, it is about kind of understanding where to put yourself and when. Yeah, I don't know. Whoever talked about that, they got their message retracted or something. So it's really weird. I don't know what they were talking about. So, or what they had to say after that. It's really interesting. I mean, then I have to go. My personal, what I have to say about this is that spirits, so disembodied consciousness in general, if there's a human being around, they're going to use them for energy. So in your sleep, that's how they attach to you. Because when we're asleep, we are in the astral plane. So our astral body is on the astral plane. Even if you don't remember your dreams, it doesn't matter. You're not in your body. So you're open for something else to come into your body. And I think that, it's kind of like, giving them the best energy, really. But beyond, okay, like if, spirit is not going to attach to a human for energy, how is it going to get that? That also, I mean, what you mentioned, if it's really going to be, physical, especially with technology, that's usually has to do with like them understanding how to drain things. It is why, ghosts drain cell phone batteries, turn lights off and on. Oh, they turn on water because that gives off high EMF. So it's like, they have to have that kind of way to manipulate that, to make that. But for example, once a spirit can learn how to turn the water faucet on, like in the movie Ghost, obviously with Patrick Swayze, they could get more energy from that running water. So, but a lot of them don't know how to do that kind of stuff, or aren't even aware of their environment. So, but I do think there's definitely a lot of manipulation of technology, batteries. I even have an experience like that where I had saved my biological grandfather's some of his personal information in what do you call them, folders? folders and attachments, bookmarks. Your bookmarks are on your computer, right? So I saved that because along with some other information, I like genealogy and history. So it was, just in there with a lot of other, related topics. Well, I went, off to go do something, and no one was in the room that I had been in. And I came back a couple minutes later, and there was I had just left the computer running because I was going to, turn on something else. When I go, okay, I'm going to come back. It was open to the page of my grandfather's, basically personal information, really just straightforward personal details. And I was just like, okay, I'm like, at first I'm thinking the dog knocked the computer mouse over. One of my kids came and ran out here, and they went into the bookmarks folder and they looked through that, just that's what had to have happened, right? Instead of but what are the odds? Does that make sense? It makes, when I think about it, it really doesn't. Sure, the computer glitched and it was already maybe kind of open to a tab or something, but no, I really didn't have absolutely anything on the computer other than you got your background. But I didn't even have a browser open or anything. I mean, but I mean, when I talk to people about the occult, they'll say that, one woman I talked to, it was really bad. There was a suicidal guy. Well, he committed suicide and he got really attached to her, but well, he was really very sexual, but also when he would basically be bothering her, he would always appear as decomposed. Yeah. So before she started to see him, she would have these, experiences she couldn't explain. Well, one of them was that she walked into her room and there was a bunch of dolls, I guess it was three of them, and it was dolls because she had an 8-year-old sister, and she, chewed her ass out, being like, how did you do this? She had just gone a couple minutes in the other room to get a ladder or something or whatever she was doing, and came out. And she goes, when I think about it though, she wasn't even in the room, but there was dolls hanging from the ceiling fan by shoestrings or these other kinds of shorter strings like that. She goes, but even if she had a ladder, she wouldn't have been able to reach. She said, when I thought about it late at night when I couldn't sleep, I got the ladder out and I tried to, think about how tall she is, whatever, 4 foot X amount to the ceiling fan. Even if she stood on the top of the ladder, wouldn't be able to reach it. So you want to jump to the logical conclusion. You want to think that, oh fuck, I forgot something and I bumped into something. It was, the other person in the house. And yeah, of course, a lot of the times it is. But how many times do we, think of a logical explanation where that doesn't, when you really look back at it, it doesn't make any sense. And of course, that's a lot of experiences I've had. And I have to leave it at that. Ultimately, I'm still just a person. I have to leave it that does not make any logical sense. I am going to agree with myself that this is what I experienced. And even if I was tired or something, and it doesn't apply to objects moving, it's a mystery. Logic doesn't apply. And then I move on because that's how I, stay sane. But I just do think it is interesting. I do think even I want to find a rational explanation. I really understand that. But I do have to go. I really enjoyed chatting it up with you guys. A lot of fun. March 17th, around this time, a couple hours. So it's a Friday, the third Friday of March. I'll see you guys there for a couple hours, and I'll make a short video announcing it. Chris, it's been a lot of fun talking to you. We've probably been, friends a few years, and I just hope that whatever you get out of talking to me really helps you on your personal journey. You don't have to be an occultist or not. You're just a person looking for themselves, and that's hard enough on all of us anyway. And I'll check out your channel, see if you have any content too. But Anyway, I'll do a lot of tarot coming up. I think I have a few more cards left. I want to get that in. I'm going to do the world next. I have never profiled it. So kind of look for that soon. But really nice chatting with all you guys. I can't believe Behemoth X stopped by. That's like, being like a little tiny band, like, and then, you're like the opening act. And then the lead singer from the main act comes up to you and is like, I like your stuff. How are you doing? You're like, but how would you know me? I'm just small and obscure, whatever, right? I'm just the opening act. And then one day, you're like the famous band, like your buddy or whatever. I don't even know. That's the weirdest thing to compare it to. But it is that kind of feeling where it's like, I would imagine it'd be like, getting Stephen King's autograph. Kind of same kind of feeling. It'd be like, yes, I'll sign a Stephen King signing book to you. And you're just like, oh, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life, whatever. But it's a lot of fun. I will talk to you guys later. You guys all have a nice month. Email me if you need me. Talk to you later. Bye.